I'm Jack Topalian, and welcome to Real Talk with Jack. My guest today is one of the top quality general contractors in Los Angeles. He's someone I've known for many years, and I'm proud to call him a friend. Now, his company's been responsible for building mega mansions in Beverly Hills, all the way to multifamily units all over Los Angeles. Today, we're going to have an opportunity to see this facility and to meet with the man himself. Let's go say hello.
Hey Jack, welcome.
Hey Vahe, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, buddy. How are you?
Good to see you.
Welcome to our neighborhood.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
What an amazing project you got
Thank
going
you,
on
thank
here.
you. How you been?
I've been good.
All right,
How you
great.
been?
Oh, life is good.
Good to hear.
Running around.
You know, I've known you all these years. You're always so positive. What is the secret to that?
Well, that's the key of being a happy person. I'm not going to stay within anybody who pulls me down or negative thoughts, or I don't need it in my life.
I know it's so hard in today's world to stay positive all the time, but you know what? It's something that's, I think, within you. You have to convince yourself.
I agree. Life is good. Let's put it that way.
Good to hear.
So I'm enjoying my life the way where I'm at right now. So we're good.
Good. What an amazing project you got going on here. What's the scoop here? How long have you been at this?
Oh, about 30 months. It's a 22 units.
Okay.
We started from ground up. It has a subterranean in it.
Okay.
4 stories. It's one of those unique signature units. We've done many of those, but this is the latest one.
I can see you had some challenges during the time you had to build this building, but as you know, in the movie business, we say the show must go on. So it's the same thing in construction.
And actually, we did. The show kept going on. Right. Unfortunately, everybody was sitting home because of COVID. Yeah. Streets were empty. Construction industry never stopped, believe it or not.
Right.
Because it was one of the important trades we had to keep.
Well, it's construction and real estate are the two main things that fuel the economy, as we both know.
We had
you
no
have to
choice.
continue.
We had no choice. The city inspectors were out. Most of them, they were afraid to go to the job sites. When they came to inspections, everybody had to have a mask on, make sure that no one is sick, make sure that no one has temperature. Inspectors come in, look, if they're not comfortable, they will not come into your building. Which I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
I know. Those are the challenges. But hey, throughout all of that, you still managed to be able to finish a building. True. Why don't we go inside and why don't you show us around?
You're most welcome. Come on
Please.
in.
Lead on.
Thank you.
So, how many units is this complex?
This is a 22 units, combination of 1, 2 bedrooms, and some 3 bedrooms. Building is about 29,000 square feet, the living space. 22 units, as I said, 4-story building. Mm-hmm. It's nice, clean, modern, to the latest codes, which all the handicap requirements are implemented.
Right.
So it's going to be one of those really successful buildings. This is an apartment building, it's not a condo. For an apartment building, this is too much of a quality. Each floor has its own laundry room, each floor has its own telecommunication room, security room, you name it, we have it in the building.
Well, why don't we go inside and check out one of the units?
Sure, absolutely.
Vahe, now I know Benelian Brothers has been in business for many, many years. Now, what makes Benelian Brothers Construction different and better than some of those companies that are out there?
Well, we started construction about 30, 40 years ago. My brother and I, we incorporated, we evolved, we learned the trade very well. Also, we learned the means and methods of construction. That's the hard part in reality.
Aren't you an engineer by training?
Well,
by trade?
no, not an engineer as a structural or civil engineer. I'm an engineering contractor.
Okay.
Most contractors, 97% of California contractors, they are B licensed, which is a general contractor.
Okay.
We hold two licenses. We hold general contractor as a B and also an engineering contractor, which is an A license. And that gives us an edge over so many contractors that they can't do what we do.
Now you have some of these trades in-house, don't you?
We have concrete, we have structural steel, we have framing, all in-house we do. Our niche is construction in concrete, structural concrete.
Now that's very rare in construction because a lot of general contractors, they sub out pretty much everything. They're mostly paper contractors.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're different and unique in that way.
Correct. We control the timing of the construction, cost. This is our edge. When we bid our jobs, the customers, then when they look at the overall number and they go, well, wait a minute, how can they compete? And this is what our explanation is. We're doing the construction in-house, which is concrete and framing. So that gives us an edge on all those paper contractors you're talking about.
You know, contractors are notorious for running over budget. So by listening to something like this, you're able to not exactly pinpoint, but come as close to what you've promised the client. That's just pretty unique.
I understand what you're saying. Most of contractors, they are above budget. Most of the contractors, they're delayed.
On time. They're
And they're
notorious
not
for
on
that
time.
stuff, yeah.
For so many reasons. One is they don't have the support. Two, they don't have the financial backup. Three, when they bid a job, probably they are down from the previous job, so they bid any job at any amount to get the contract. And they'll cover up for their own mistakes in the past. So they keep doing it until it comes to a point where a contractor cannot keep up and they call it a quit. This is why contractors that you see, if somebody tells you we're in business for 25, 30 years, not because of us, but there must be doing something right. So they
last that long, right, right.
Exactly.
Which is very unique in any business you're in. You know, to last 20, 30 years, I mean, you have to be doing something right more times than not to last that many years. I want to talk a little bit about your background. Now, where did you go to school? Where were you educated and all of that?
Well, I was born and raised in the Middle East, in Lebanon.
Okay.
Moved to the States 34, 35 years ago. First thing I decided to do is get my formal education, which is get college degrees. So I went to community college. Then from there I went to Woodbury. I did my undergrad and in business, and I did my MBA at Woodbury at the same time. So I got my MBA in finance. So the combination of business administration and finance helps me tremendously in running my business.
That's amazing. And I want to tell something to our viewers. Vahe and I, just a few weeks ago, were proud parents of two graduates who just completed Woodbury University. So our children are friends, our families are friends, and our kids graduated from Woodbury University where Vahe went to school.
I feel really special because me and my wife, we both graduated Woodbury.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then here comes my daughter after 22 years, she's graduating Woodbury. So imagine. So the feeling of being in those seats and watching your own daughter graduating from the same school that you graduated.
I noticed you knew a lot of those professors that were up there.
Yes.
So that was good.
That's the beauty of education in this country.
That's right. And it's absolutely, education is necessary for anything that you do.
And I say to everyone, regardless what business they want to be in, get your formal education, put your diploma in your back pocket, and do whatever you want. Whether you're in construction, whether you're in retail, whatever you do, get your formal education. I believe in that tremendously.
People, did you hear that? Whatever you're doing in life, get your degrees, get your licenses, get your education. It will never fail you in life. Now, part of being a successful business person in any business is giving back to the community. Now, we've been friends for a long time, and I know a few things about you, and I know one of the roles that you have is being the chairman of the school board for the Fedayeen Armenian School in Encino. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, Since both of my daughters, they attended that school since 2 years old, I had to be involved in the school to make sure that their education is right, to make sure that they're getting everything correctly. So I got involved in the school board. I was the treasurer, I was just vice, I played all these roles. In the end, I had no choice but becoming the chairman of the school board.
Where do you find time for all of this, Wyatt?
That's the beauty of it. I'm not the type of a guy who sits in front of the TV and watches TV or listens to.
You mean you haven't seen me on TV before?
Yes, I have. So Ferayan is the first Armenian high school. Was established back in 1964 by a very crazy but smart guy. His name is Gabriel Injajikian.
Okay.
He established that school with the money of an attorney. His name is Matyos Ferayan, that he decided to donate $300,000 of his own money. Basically, he sold his house.
To establish this school?
He said, after his death, his money is going to go towards any Armenian high school. Oh. It doesn't matter what the name is, of course. He passed in 1952, but in 1964, when the school was established, the school was named after him. Because what we do is first we buy the church, and next to the church we build the school. So all this came through the community since 1964.
That's amazing. You know what? Our community and every community out there needs people like that, needs benefactors, because without those benefactors and without people like yourself tirelessly working for the community, these things don't get done. People don't realize, that they think we're just, because you send a child to school, you have to be involved somehow. You have to make sure that things are getting done. So my hat's off to you. Now, I also know that recently you guys just bought the land right next door.
Oh, yes.
To expand the high school. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, that is the biggest dream that we've been dreaming for the past 30, 35 years. Next to Ferayan High School, there's the Mormons Church, which is about 3 acres property, and it has about 20,000 square foot building in it.
That's a lot of space.
It has a church, has classrooms and what have you. So all of a sudden, we hear that it's for sale. We had no idea what it was, how much. So first thing we did is we called the broker, and we jumped from 6 million to 14 million.
Wow.
This is the biggest, I would say, purchase in the Armenian community, in the history of the Armenian in the United States. The biggest purchase. And what that did is opened up the doors for us to have additional 190 students.
That's amazing.
So come next year, we have all these Armenian students that cannot afford. We do extend financial aid. Now that we have the space, they will be attending Armenian schools. So what a proud moment that is for us.
That is.
So
believe me, my children have attended private school throughout the years. My nephews and nieces, I have friends whose kids have graduated through Ferayan School. I mean, this is an amazing achievement. And I know there's a lot of kids that go on to higher education, Ivy League schools, and what have you. The list goes on and on.
We have been seeing so much success in this past 4 years, especially, where we have students attending Ivy League schools, as you said. We have students attending Brown, students attending Penn State. I don't want to mention
Stanford,
I don't want to
right.
mention California universities. I mean UCLA, Berkeley, and all these state universities. We have so many of them.
Right.
But the percentage of our students attending four-year college is literally 100%.
That's amazing.
100%.
And now 190 additional students a year
They
are
will
going to
be
be
attending.
able to
Yes, yes. And now guess what? My daughters, both of them graduated. They tell me, why are you still in that school? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well,
Why are you?
I have a lot to give. So I'm ready, regardless whether my time. We have a huge circle of community friends where they're all ready to donate. When they see these successes, everybody wants to be on the side of the success. So we have a lot of friends, I can call them good friends. They would donate the money that they don't even have, and they will come up with it.
Well, it's for a bigger cause.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's the whole point of what we do in any business that we're in. It's, again, to somehow give back to the people and to the community you work with. It's passing it on forward for the next generation. So my hat's off to you.
Thank you.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about real estate. Now, I know you definitely understand construction and real estate. You guys just made this big investment, to expand the Ferayan School. What are your thoughts? How do you see the economy today in the next couple of years? I know none of us have a crystal ball,
Right.
but I'm very much involved in real estate and in construction as well, as you know. But how do you see it from your perspective? What do you think the market's going to be like in the next few years?
Well, look, United States is at the point right now, all these wars that's going on, instead of us losing the money, yes, we have some inflation. Yes, with COVID, the government printed a lot of money, and that's what caused the inflation. Inflation is not in the United States, it's throughout the world. But we have the assets, we have the experience, we have the ability to withstand all this.
Yes.
Now, Europe, right now, they are experiencing the recession. Recession is when, after inflation, recession is going to hit. Inflation is caused by the government. Recession is caused by the government. But the government will never accept that the mistake, whatever they did,
Right.
that it's their fault. No. What I'm seeing is, yes, in 2023 or 24, we will be hit with some recession, but it will be minor in the United States.
So the government and business people are making moves to make sure that the impact is not as great as like it was, for example, in 2008, 2009, where a lot of us were hit in that economy.
Correct. But think about one thing that this country has, no other country has it, which is political stability.
Yes.
See, in Russia, with all the money, with all the oligarchs, with all the oil money
It's a
and this and that,
corrupt system.
so what happened?
It's a corruption
What happened?
system,
A few
yeah.
people, they got rich, the rest, they're still in the shacks. Take any third world countries, you don't want to invest in those countries. This is where Chinese money, Russian money, and all these oligarchs around the world, they bring their monies and they invest it in the United States. There's political stability. Simple. That's the reason you have so much influx of cash, so much influx of successful people coming into this country. So this country will be the last to be destroyed financially.
Thank God. But here's one thing I would say, people. Get involved. Local politics, state politics,
Yes.
federal politics, vote. Your vote does count. It doesn't matter who you vote for, but get involved in your communities and in your elected officials, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
we strongly believe in that.
Absolutely. I am involved in the community, in voting, with the councilman's office, and with everyone that we think of. If they're going to be helping the community, we are going to be helping them to get elected. It's very simple. So
Let's go check out some more things.
let's do that.
This is quite an undertaking. Between you being a general contractor, building homes and buildings, between you volunteering your time for school and community, do you ever travel? Do you have time for traveling?
Oh, of course.
Yeah?
Traveling is a must in my family.
Where do you guys like going?
Before COVID,
Yeah.
once a year, at least 3 to 4 weeks, we travel abroad.
Broad meaning overseas.
Abroad, overseas, we've been to almost every European country. And always we travel to Armenia at the same time. Always we travel to Jerusalem. So our trips, it's not 4 weeks in Europe, will be 1 week in Armenia, 1 week in Jerusalem, 2 weeks in Europe. Next year, let's say, will be 1 week in Jerusalem, 2 weeks in 2 different other European countries, and then Armenia as well.
Jerusalem is on my bucket list. I mean, I've never been to the Middle East. I've never been to Lebanon, never been to Israel, and Jerusalem is a must, I think, for anybody, right?
I can tell you one thing. You go to Jerusalem, regardless what religion you believe in.
Yeah.
You go to Jerusalem, you come back, I guarantee you, you'll come back a different person. Spiritually, you come back so rich.
I mean, so much history back there.
There is a 2,000-year-old history that we know of.
Yeah.
And forget the rest. I mean, the 6,000-year-old history maybe there is, but the 2,000 from Christianity, you can see it. You see the roads where Jesus walked. You see the churches. You see all these plains, and we hear and read about them in the books. Then you go and you touch it.
So is it fair to say that that's one of your favorite spots, or do you have a favorite spot to visit?
In Jerusalem is one of my favorite spots.
Is it?
Yes, I go and
How about in Europe? Now, I travel to Europe quite a bit. I've done business in Europe, for many years. What's some of your favorite locations in Europe?
Oh, look. People think
Spain, Italy, France.
People think Brussels will be this beautiful, huge, big city. It's not. Brussels, it's small, little, compact.
Yeah.
People are happy.
I've been there.
Same thing with Denmark.
Yes.
Same thing with the Netherlands.
It's amazing, right? In such a cold country, they're considered like the happiest people on the planet,
Yes.
right?
The Netherlands, when I teach my kids, people think Amsterdam is the capital of the Netherlands.
No, it's The Hague.
Everybody thinks, right? Well, yes, it is. And then everybody says, where are the embassies? They're all in The Hague. I go, so, okay, where is the capital? Usually embassies are in the capital.
Right.
So they have two capitals.
Right.
So that's one
Well,
thing.
Amsterdam is known. I know we were there a few years ago, and my children had an opportunity to see Belgium as well as Holland and so forth. Yeah, I love traveling because I think it's one of the ways for us to interconnect with other cultures and other people from various places, and that's what we better understand one another. Because I think that's what's missing in society sometimes, is being able to connect with different cultures, different religions, people of different backgrounds. That's very critical, and that starts with traveling.
Agree. We've been to France. Beautiful, again, architectural. Food is great. London is completely different than France, even though they're right attached to each other next door. You will see the difference in food. London, I was really impressed with the richness that they have in their, London itself.
Yeah.
So rich, historic. I mean, you look at the
Very
buildings, you look at the stores, you look at the people. Even though there you'll see a lot of, people that you think they don't belong there, but the city is so rich. The country is so rich historically and money. Talk about money.
England has a lot of history, absolutely. London is one of my favorite cities in the world.
Yeah.
So I want to touch about something else now. Both you and I are cigar connoisseurs, and we love wine. And one of our favorite places is Napa Valley, my old stomping ground, because when I lived in the Bay Area, it was very easy for me to go to Napa Valley on a regular basis. We got to do a trip up there.
Absolutely,
with the families.
anytime. Before my kids were born, we used to go to Napa at least 4 to 5 times a year.
Wow.
Go for 2 weeks, go to San Francisco, and then go to Napa, stay for a week there, and then come back. Now that the kids are grown, kind of before they were grown, we couldn't take them to these places. So I would say
you can't go wine tasting with little ones. Yeah.
So I could say for the past 15, 16 years, I haven't been to Napa because my kids.
Well, we got to do a trip.
Now that they're grown up, they're definitely going.
I tell you what, they're all grown up. My kids are grown up. Your kids are grown up.
Yeah.
We should just take the wives and just do a couples trip.
Right.
It's
Now,
better that way.
Even though I don't go to Napa, but I'll bring Napa to me.
Oh yeah.
I'm a wine connoisseur, as you said. I do collect wine. I smoke cigars. Life is good. Let's put it that way.
Good to hear.
Yes.
Well, let's go check out more of this
Sure.
place.
Let's do that.
So what do we have here?
This is the main electrical panel. Behind it, we have the electrical vault that's underground. And from the underground vault, you would see the high voltage coming into this. And from here, goes to the units, meters of each unit.
Right.
This is the fire system.
Wow, this is quite a system.
Yeah, this is to code. You have to have all this for the safety of the tenant. You have different types of valves, different types of pressure for each floor, and they all connect here, and everything is marked. It has to be done to the fire department's
And so all of this continues like all of here?
All this is actually, we call it the guts of the building. Right. Without this, none of the units will be habitable.
I mean, this is pretty amazing.
Yes, there is a lot of piping, codes keeps changing, and you would see double piping. One is for regular water, one is for sewer lines. So there's a lot of water savings procedures here that we do. So it's all, they come together in the end of the day.
So Vahe, I'm curious, what advice would you give to any person that wants to go into construction trades, to start their own company?
Well, any person who's willing to be successful in their future, any person who wants to put long hours, serious about their future. Construction is a very lucrative business, and it's very satisfactory. When you start with great nothing, and then you create something with it, that by itself is an art.
You start with a piece of dirt, and then you see all of this.
And then you see this.
It's amazing.
I mean, this is one type of a construction. Now, what if you do this massive home, or you do this house on the beach, or you do a house on side of the slope or the hill?
Right.
All these challenges. You know how satisfaction you get from that? You know, you wake up early in the morning just to go to the job site.
A lot of morning hours.
Absolutely.
A lot of long hours.
Early hours. You have to start with 5:30. You cannot go to construction site at 7. Right. 7 o'clock, you start construction. Now, of course, there is office type of work in construction. Of course, there is paperwork type of construction. Of course, there is all this. But any person who wants to start the business, they need to start from the bottom. They need to start to understand how long it takes to move a shovel of dirt, or mixed concrete, or tie rebar, or do framing, or they need to understand it.
Great.
So they could ask of the subs or the trades to do it the right way.
So I asked this of all my guests. What closing message do you have for our viewers?
Look,
if any.
The best message I can give, I'm giving it to you from my life and the successes I've been having in my life. The best decision that you can make in your life is make sure you get your formal education. 60, 70 years ago was high school diploma. 25 years ago was 4-year college. Now you need to have your 4-year college, you need to have your master's degree, you need to have your certificates, you need to have all of these diplomas. And it's not that it's going to teach you the trade, it's going to give you a self of confidence in yourself to take any decisions, to go on into any business, regardless whether it's construction or real estate, or be sure of yourself. And the only way you can do that is when you have your weapon in your back pocket.
And that weapon being your diploma, your education. So there you have it, folks.
Yes.
Thank you, Vahe.
Good pleasure. Good luck to you.
Great seeing you.
Same here.
Amazing projects. I've seen a few of them. This is another amazing one. Thanks for having us today.
With pleasure.
Well, everybody, that's our episode for today. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed meeting Vahe, learning more about Ben Elyan Brothers Construction, and seeing one of their latest projects. I look forward to seeing you next time on Real Talk with Jack.